I don't know if I have enough tequila. I'm gonna have to do small timestamp sips for another video. I was just gonna do two videos, and then I was kind of like, no, I want to do one more. So I'm gonna do land versus sea. And I know you're sitting there and you're thinking, what? That surprises me. He had it in front of him. I didn't think he was going to talk about that one. And to the doubters, I say, never stop believing. Don't stop believing. Queen said that. Queen Elizabeth, not Queen the Rock Band. Queen the Rock Band also sang that. But Queen Elizabeth said that at some point in her life, at some point in her 95 years of life, or however old she is, she said, don't stop believing. So I know that you thought that was a misquote. It wasn't. Timestamp. What is it? Land versus Sea is a 2 to 4 player hex shaped tile lane map making spatial strategy puzzler. Half of that I stole from Kim, who works with Good Games Publishing, because it was such an impressive, like, sentence long descriptor that he gave. So I stole like the first half of that from him. The back half was me, I think, unless that was just a unconscious quote. This is what I would. When other people say, I like Carcassonne, I want to play Carcassonne, I think you should choose this instead. And I say that because I think it is easier to teach, easier to learn, has a higher strategy cap or, ceiling to it. I say that with the caveat that I know that there are a lot of expansions for Carcassonne. I've never played with any of them. And I imagine if you add quite a few expansions into it, that Carcassonne can become a much meatier product, a much meatier product. But you have to add stuff. Everything that you need in Land versus Sea is in this tiny box. And actually, I could say that everything you need is in this tiny box. Everything you actually need is pretty much in a third of this tiny box. Right here, right in there, all the tiles and the little extra pieces. And then this top part, that's just a scoreboard. So actually, everything you need is in even smaller section than this box. I appreciate that they did the scoreboard, actually, because that makes the box space not wasted. So very appreciative of that. Otherwise, this to that would have bothered me, but it doesn't because there's a scoreboard there. Lessons to be learned, Fantasy Flight Games. You guys suck at inserts. Your little cardboard trough. You and your little cardboard trough. You suck. Fantasy Flight Games. I want you to know that you were a massive part of my intro to the hobby. You still to this day retain some of my favorite titles and some of my top games ever. I love things that you have done, but you suck at inserts. Like, suck. Really bad. Sorry, that was a tangent. We're going to get back to this. Timestamp, what is it? Land versus Sea, spatial puzzler, 2 to 4 players. 2 and 4 play pretty similar. There's a lack of communication if you're at 4 players. You have to play silently with waypoints as kind of little signalers. You can't do table talk, so you don't really know what your partner has on the flip side of their tiles because all tiles are two-sided. But you can talk to them in indirect ways by trying to signal as to what you want completed or what you might think they need to have completed based off of what you see they have or what you want to have happen. 3-player is the unique scenario in which all of the scoring elements are somewhat juggled up and mixed out a little bit and apportioned to different players. Land, sea, and cartographer is the third role, and they kind of take scoring elements away from land and sea and keep some of those to themselves. And so it's a much tighter, meatier, crunchier little contest or conflict between those 3 people. I have done a playthrough with Kidsplaining on the video series that we're trying to do that is like hardcore, multicam, high quality playthroughs. It's called Play the Game is the series. It's on their channel, and I will maybe try to link it in the description. I think this is the first time I've ever done this. I will maybe try to link that video in the description. And I've played it with them, so you can see it kind of in action there. I think that this is a fantabulous game. I would never feel the need to own Carcassonne. This plays so fast and so smoothly at 2. I think 2 and 3 are going to be my favorite. I have enjoyed it at 4. I've played it twice, 3 times at 4. I've played it, I think, 3 times at 4. But 2 and 3 players they're just going to be my favorite. Going, toe to toe with somebody as land and sea. And then also, I have yet to play as the cartographer, and I would like to try that out at some point for 3-player games. So, oh, man. Designed by Jon-Paul Jacques, who also did the artwork for it. And this is published by Good Games Publishing. And I think I've probably waxed philosophically about what is it, so we can move on. Why I have it. I'm trying to remember when the first time I connected with Kim from Good Games was. It's possible that it was I think it was for Fun Fair. I think that's what it was. I think it was for Fun Fair. They were doing a digital demo, and I was not available for most of the weekend at the digital con that it was at. And then at the very end, like with 30 minutes left or an hour left or something in the con, I reached out and was like, hey, I would be interested in trying Fun Fair. And Kim was very, amenable and courteous. And it's possible that it was either after hours of when he was supposed to be working, or it was at the very brink of when they should have been done. And anyways, he accommodated me, and I played Fun Fair, and I had a blast. And also, this is tangential, and I'm not sponsored by them at all. Good Games Publishing. They have fantastic scripted TTS mods. Oh my goodness. For someone who plays TTS games somewhat frequently, not really the last couple months, but prior to that, somewhat frequently to demo games or to play games, and also for design purposes, just somebody who uses TTS a lot, the difference between a scripted mod and an unscripted mod is night and day. Oh my goodness, it makes games that would suck in TTS not suck. I actually think you could maybe play through a scripted TTS game of Fun Fair faster than you could play the physical copy, which I don't say that about like any game. So I played Fun Fair, got introduced to Kim and to Good Games Publishing, ended up reviewing Unfair and Fun Fair and doing kind of a longer expose on those games and playing both of them quite a bit, maybe more so than I typically do for reviewing. And then comparing them, I ultimately got rid of Fun Fair, which sometimes I wonder if that was the right decision, but I kept Unfair. Me and my wife seemed to really enjoy that and all of the combinations you can do between the theme packs, not decks, theme packs. And yeah, so I just developed a good relationship. I think I also reviewed Guildmaster and I think Fluttering Souls. So just most of their games. So when this was on the horizon, I said, Kim, I want in and I want to learn the game. So I learned it and I was like, I like this. I want to review it. And he was gracious once again enough to proffer up a review copy, which I picked up at Gen Con. That was a really long answer, but that's why I have it. When did I get it? I got it at Gen Con. Timestamp. When did I get it? Timestamp. Will it leave? No. This is maybe one of the first games. No. Stuff like Forbidden Stars. I have done some games in this series that they're just not leaving. They're not. And this is one of those. It's not. It's not going to. It is such an easy game to bring to the table. It is such an easy game to teach. And for me, it hits this sweet spot where I can reduce some of the elements out of it. There's mountain and coral optional scoring. There's trade route optional scoring. You cannot do that at all when you're teaching it and just do the basic land and sea bodies and masses that you score when you complete them. And when you do that, it is such an accessible game to people who maybe don't play complex systems or complex mechanics often, which makes this super accessible. But when you add all that in, it makes it super challenging. And there are a lot more variables to consider when you're placing stuff. And so this can be both at the low end of the spectrum in terms of accessibility to players who don't do a lot of stuff, and also at the higher end of the higher end of satisfaction for strategy lovers based off of all of the optional scoring elements that are baked into this, land versus zeta pizza. Didn't really work. It worked better in my head. So will it leave? Emphatic no. Would you like it? You should. You should like this game. I think this is one of those games that, I think that this and Funfair are probably the two biggest no-brainers that they have. I like Unfair more, but I think Funfair is probably the right choice for most people. And sometimes I wonder if I shouldn't have given it away to my sister. But I just didn't feel the need to have it and Unfair. This is, yes, you would like this. And you know what? If you don't, I'm sorry. But this is such a solid game. And it's it's cheap too. It's like $30 maybe. Get this game. Would you like it? Yes. Timestamp. Rating. This is I've never actually thought about this. Some of the games that I like, most of the games that I bring to the table are probably ones that I don't actively think about rating. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. This is a solid 9 out of 10. Like not shaky at all. Solid 9 out of 10. This is not a 10 out of 10 game for me because I try to be cautious about giving out 10 out of 10s. Not like I think it's stupid to not give 10 out of 10s. I think there are some games that just deserve it in terms of what I like. You know what? Let me actually specify. Let me readdress or reframe how I rate things. If I rated this out of what I personally like to bring to the table to play when I can, this is a 9 out of 10. If I rate this based off of what this product does, what this game does, it's a 10 out of 10. Just the level of accessibility, the wide spectrum of gamers that it appeals to, and what it does with so few components and pieces, the level of depth that's in such a small package, for what it does, it's a 10 out of 10. I think it's a 10 out of 10. For what it is for me, 9 out of 10. But that's not like that's not that bad of a drop. This is a fantastic game. Fantastic game. Good rating. Thumbnail. I should just balance all of the tiles. I should just balance all the tiles. I'm just gonna grab them. Oh, can I grab them all in one go? I don't think I can. But once I grab them in 2 goes, I can balance them all. So just like, boom. I think that works. Hey guys, that's like 95% of the components for this game. That's ridiculous. The back of your head is ridiculous. That's such a good sketch. That's an old Mad TV sketch. That's a good one though. All right, guys, land versus sea. I think that's it. I think I've got everything. And I'm measured and weighed and used an appropriate amount of sips to get to the end of the video. So I think we're good now.